Hi, my name is Julio Cadillo, and I'm going to talk about the Cold War. The Cold War is the name given to the relationship between USA and Russia after World War II. After the World War ended, these grievances ripened into overwhelming senses of mutual enmity. Americans' fear of Russian plan to control the world. Meanwhile, Russia came to resent what they perceived as American officials' bellicose rhetoric, arms built up, and ambitious approach to international relationships. The atomic age. In 1949, the Soviets tested an atom bomb of their own test that was called the hydrogen bomb. The Cold War extends to space. On October 4, 1957, the Soviets launched Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite and the first man-made object to be placed in Earth orbit. In 1958, the USA launched its own satellite, Explorer 1, designed by the USA Army under the direction of rocket scientist Werner von Braun. And what came to be known as a space race was underway. Still, the Soviets were one step ahead, launching the first man into space in April 1961. The May President John F. Kennedy made the bold public claim in the US would land man on the moon by the end of the decade. This came true in July 20, 1969, when Neil Armstrong became the first man to set foot on the moon, effectively winning the space race for the Americans. The Red Scare. In 1947, the House Un-American Activities Committee brought the Cold War home in another way. The committee began a series of hearings designed to show the communist supervision in the United States was alive and well. In Hollywood, forced hundreds of people who work in the movies industry to renounce left-wing political beliefs and testify against one another. The Cold War abroad. In July 1950, the first action of the Cold War began. The Soviet-backed North Korea People's Army invented its pro-Western neighbor to the south. Americans feared that this was the first step in communist plan to take over the world and thought that they needed to do something about it. Truman sent an American military into Korea, but the war dragged to a stalemate and ended in 1953. In the early 1960, President Kennedy faced a number of troubling situations. The Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961 and the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 proved that the community lay in the Third World. This was more notable in Vietnam, where the fall of French regiment had caused struggle between America-backed nationalists and the communist nationalists. The close of World War. In 1972, he ended Soviet Premier Leonid Brezhnev, since the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty was known as SATL, which made illegal the construction of nuclear weapons on both sides. Cold War heated up again under President Ronald Reagan. He thought that his communities became bigger if would affect the freedom of people. As a result, he worked provide financially and military aid to anti-communist government and insurgents around the world. Premier Michael Gorbachev took office in 1985 and introduced two policies that redefined Russia: glasnost, or political openness, and perestroika, or economic reform. In 1989, every other communist state the region replaced its government with non-communist one. In November of the year, the Berlin Wall was finally destroyed. By 1991, the Soviet Union itself had fallen apart from the Cold War. The term Cold War refers to a war consists of indirect conflict rather than direct conflict, a war with casualties but no battles or armed fighting. Socialism began with the Marx and Engels as Marxism. Social is like a common ownership. Common ownership will mean everybody will have the right to participate in decisions on how global resources will use. It means nobody being able to personal control or resources beyond their own personal possessions. Capitalism. Capitalism is a social system in which the means of producing and distributing goods are owned by a small minority of people. The capitalist class and the rest of people will have to sell their work to get things exchanged. The working class are paid in produced goods and services which are then sold for a profit. The profit is gained by the capitalist class because they can make money selling whatever he have produced than will cost to buy in the labor market. In this sense, the working class are exploited by the capital class. The capitalists live off the profits they obtain from the exploitation of the working class, whilst reinvesting some of their profits for the further accumulation of wealth. Now I'm going to start with the interview. Hi, can you please tell me your name and age?
Hi, my name is Andrea Cepeda and I'm 45 years old.
Uh, do you know which countries were the world leaders during this period?
Well, yes, it was USA and the Soviet Union.
Why did countries who were allies during the this war become enemies afterwards?
They became enemies because of the differences in ideologies, which were USA was a capitalist and the Soviet Union were socialist, and also because of the fear that was in the air because the Soviet Union knew that USA had nuclear wars, and if there was a conflict, they could use it against them.
Where did the Cold War take place?
It took place in Korea and Afghanistan, but it was in different parts. For example, it also went out of the space when the United States put a missile in the Earth's orbit.
What opinion did the general public have of Cold War?
Well, as I said, there was fear. A lot of countries just thought that this conflict was going to cause a nuclear war, and also this conflict almost caused World War III, but it was stopped.
What type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal?
Well, all type of guns, nuclear, chemical, which were fired by air and land.
Okay, we have finished. Thank you.
Thank you.